Hey everybody, what I've got here is the new Lionel Seaboard Lion Chief Plus 2.0 NW2 switcher. This was offered in Lionel's 2022 Volume 2 catalog and was delivered just a few days ago here in late May of 2023. Now, anybody who's watched this channel knows that I don't often purchase and review Lion Chief items because on my layout, I tend to run the larger scale equipment that has a legacy and all that fancy stuff. And really, the only time I'll purchase anything Lion Chief Plus 2.0 is if I've got a compelling reason to. So for example, the new LC Plus 2.0 Doodlebug that's coming out hopefully later this year. That's going to be super cool, really excited about it. You can't get it in scale, and so I'm getting the Lion Chief Plus 2.0 version. So this is an NW2 switcher, and you might wonder why I'm getting this, especially since Lionel just cataloged a scale version of the NW2. In fact, I've got the custom run Eric's Trains Appalachian Western NW2 that's coming out later this year, and that is a full-scale model with legacy in the works. So this would be kind of redundant. Why would I get this? Well, I thought it was really cool because this model, and especially the Seaboard road name, in my mind, has a really cool connection to the past. So let's pull up the old iPad here. And this is a website called Tandem Associates, and they've got a lot of great information about Lionel post-war trains, the trains that Lionel made between 1945 and 1969. And so right here, I've got a Seaboard NW2 switcher. This is the Lionel number 602. It was produced in 1957 and 1958. It was a fairly entry-level item, sort of like the Lion Chief line. It had a sheet metal frame, black body with red painted stripes and white heat-stamped lettering, and it had a Seaboard Railroad Herald decal on the cab. Also had an interior light and solid non-operating coupler. So I want you to look at that and keep that in mind as we unbox this locomotive, because this is really the modern direct descendant of that post-war 602 in my opinion. So let's check it out. So for today's unboxing from my knife collection, we'll be using this guy. This is a skeleton knife. This is the Becker Escobar. Becker and K-Bar. Kind of cool skeleton knife there. Anyway, so there's the box tag, Seaboard number 1410, Lion Chief Plus 2.0 NW2, 2334040 for the model number, and an OBS date, basically on the water date, of March 30th, 2023. Now, this is one of two products that I'm going to be reviewing that sort of have direct ties to the post-war era. This is a semi-scale NW2 model. The next one I'm going to do is a scale model that is inspired by a post-war item. In that case, it's the Legacy Scale FA2 AA set and the Super Base B unit. They did a US Marine Corps version that is directly inspired by a post-war unit, and that'll be a different video. Although they're both from the same catalog, 2022 Volume 2, so clearly the folks at Lionel had some post-war inspiration on their minds for that catalog. There's the box tag, just in case you're curious. Seaboard Systems Railroad and other trademarks are owned by CSX Intellectual Properties Corporation and are used with permission. All right. Now, I said this was semi-scale, but it's pretty close to scale, actually. This thing looks pretty darn good, if you ask me. And it's not even out of the plastic wrap yet. And there we go. That's gorgeous. So here is a Seaboard NW2 from 2023, Lion Chief Plus 2.0. And there's that original 602. Kind of cool. Now, the original 602 did not have this little brake wheel up here, but other NW2s that Lionel made at the same time, like the Santa Fe version, did. And the reason that I say this is the direct descendant of that 602 is, let's pretend for a moment that Lionel never split into making both semi-scale and full-scale models like they did in the late 80s, early 90s. And instead, they just focused on the semi-scale models they had always made, and they just kept adding new technology, kept making things better and better. Well, this is likely where it would be today. You'd have a very similar model, but with digital sounds, digital control, all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't have an original 602 on hand to compare it against. That's why I had to show you the picture from that webpage. But I do have an original Santa Fe 623 from the same era. And if I put them side by side, you can definitely see the family resemblance. You know, looking at these two side by side on the layout, it's amazing how many similarities they have. I don't know if Lionel used the original tooling for the new NW2. I doubt it, seeing as the original post-war tooling would be getting on near 70 years old at this point. But it's at least incredibly influenced, or maybe a modified version of the original tooling. You know, if you compare it side by side, there are so many similarities. They've both got that big wide mouth on the front to accommodate the coupler so that these things can get around tighter curves. They've got the same style of handrails, even though my post-war 623 is missing the front and rear handrails. And yeah, my 623 is not in the best shape. It works perfectly. In fact, I upgraded it to TMCC a few years ago, but cosmetically, yeah, it's missing some of the handrails, and at some point, somebody went crazy with some green spray paint near this thing, and it got all over the trucks and so forth. So, yeah, not in the best cosmetic shape. But yeah, so many similarities. They've even got those fake sort of faux air tanks between the two trucks with nothing behind them. On the new one, at least, there's a speaker behind there, but on the old one, there was nothing behind there, and they've kind of kept it the same way as it was on the original. But for sure, one of my favorite references to the original is the fact that the new NW2 has that built by Lionel thing embossed into the plastic just like the original. That is so cool. And yet, as similar as these things are, like I said, it's kind of like time never stopped, and they just kept on making improvements to the model, because the new NW2 has a lot of improvements over the original. It's got more realistic looking safety tread on the walkways. They've got lighted number boards on the sides of the headlight and the reverse light. The new NW2 has frosted plastic in the cab windows that prevent you from seeing any wires or electronics or anything, unlike the original where you can see the big motor just sitting right there. And while they've kept the style of the handrails on the new NW2 the same as the original one, they've at least painted them so they're not raw steel, and that looks a lot better. They've got that nice safety striping on the new NW2 on both the front and the back, and the classification lights have been greatly improved. On the original, they had those big bulbous things, and of course on the new one, they've got nice LEDs. And of course, one of the coolest improvements of all is that the new NW2 has a fan-driven smoke unit, where the original had no smoke unit whatsoever. So yeah, it's just so cool to see the look and feel of the original classic post-war NW2 carried forward into modern times. And then when you compare the new NW2 to the new scale NW2 that Lionel was also producing, well, here you can see a lot of differences. I mean, as nice as the LC Plus 2.0 NW2 is, it really has nothing on the full scale version, because this has much finer detailing, these little covers on the smokestacks, the little spark arresters or whatever they are. It's got a nice brass swinging bell. It's got a detailed cab interior. Just in every way, this thing is a more high-end, highly detailed model when compared to the LC Plus 2.0 NW2. But that's not a bad thing. The world needs models like this, just like it needs one like this. This one's more durable. It's going to be better in the hands of kids. And of course, it's more affordable as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the length of this model. So this one comes in right at 11 inches long. And we'll get our scales here and see how much this thing weighs. 3 pounds, 1.5 ounces, not bad. The minimum required curve needed to operate the NW2 is 0.31, so this is going to be very friendly to layouts with tight curves. And when I tested the pulling power of the NW2, it came in right at 1 pound, 3 ounces, which is actually pretty darn good for something this small. All right, so let's go ahead and start this thing up. Now, because it is Lion Chief Plus 2.0, you can't operate it conventionally. They've done away with conventional control with Lion Chief Plus 2.0. However, you can operate it with your smartphone thanks to the Bluetooth connectivity and the Lion Chief app. You can operate it with the Lion Chief Universal Remote if you have one of those. And because these also come with TMCC on board, you can operate it with either your TMCC or Legacy system. And today I'm going to run it with my Legacy system. So let's crank it up. Now, because it's TMCC and not Legacy, you don't have all the fancy Legacy features like the quilling whistle and so forth. However, they do give you 5 horn tones and 5 bell tones, so let's check those out. And you do get some basic crew talk sounds, so let's check those out.
Turn office, air's up and the crew's on board. Are we clear? Over. Please hold at your location. Out.
Actually, I think these crew talk sounds sound great.
Air test is good. Ready to pull. What are your orders? Says hold here for 2 weeks and then take the main to the next interlock. Got a lot of tonnage today. Better bunch in some slack before we start out.
A lot of these sound sequences you'll find are the more expensive Legacy models, so that's really nice.
1 second at 6 to move, approach 777. 3077 on the main track, code 7. This warrant has 1 box checked. Number 2, over.
In addition to directional lighting, you've also got the classification lights on the front, so when I put it in reverse, those come on, which is nice. And as you can see, there's a fan-driven smoke unit with smoke coming out both of the smokestacks.
Dispatcher, head up and waiting on the clear track. Can I go? Over. Go clear, move on to lead. Out. Almost there. Pulling in now. Are we clear? Over. Copy that. Switch a line. You're clear inbound. Out.
All right, so there you have it. Lionel's new Lion Chief Plus 2.0 NW2, a super cool switcher that brings the charm of classic post-war Lionel into the 21st century. Now, if you're looking to purchase one of these, they did 4 road names. They did Santa Fe, New York Central, Great Northern, and of course Seaboard. Whichever road name you get, the price is the same. The retail price on these is right at $450, $449.99. Now, I'm sure some people are going to say $450, that's not an entry-level product. You couldn't get that for a kid. Well, this is not a low-level, entry-level product. It's mid-level. So it's not as expensive as the high-end legacy stuff. It's not as cheap as the low-end base Lion Chief stuff. It's right there in the middle. If you want more expensive, there's more expensive. If you want less expensive, Lionel's got Lion Chief diesels that start at $250. And then below that, they've got ready-to-play stuff that starts for under $100. So they've got all sorts of stuff at different price levels, and this is a mid-level entry. Now, keep in mind that $450 is the full retail price. If you go through a good Lionel dealer, you'll likely get a bit of a discount off that retail price. And as always, if you're looking for a good Lionel dealer, try my favorite train store, which is Legacy Station. You can find them on the web at legacystation.com or give them a call at 770-339-7780. If you'd like to support this channel, I would greatly appreciate it. That can be done through Patreon at patreon.com/ericstrains. Patreon supporters get access to all sorts of perks and benefits, and you can read about those benefits on my Patreon page. I'd like to put a big thank you out there to all of my current Patreon supporters. Your support means the world, not only to me, but to the future of this channel. And a super extra big thank you goes out to my premium tier Patreon supporters. You'll see their names listed at the end of this video. And lastly, if you'd like to buy some Eric's Trains merchandise, you know, t-shirts, cups, cell phone cases, all that kind of stuff, if you look underneath this video, you'll see a listing of some of the items for sale. If you click on those, it'll take you to my online store, and you can purchase whatever you want. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. That's going to do it for now. I'm Eric Siegel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.